I represent the very great people of Edo North in Edo State. I rise to commend this motion and the fact that it was moved by our Senate leader, which reflects the collective feeling of this Senate that if we have spent time to denounce in the past, it is just appropriate that on this occasion that our armed forces have demonstrated uncommon courage and apparently evolve a different strategy to rescue these children is something that all of us should commend. That said, just two issues. The emergency minority leader, Nigi, spoke about paying something appropriate to the men who pay the supreme price and others. I will add that if one man must be paid for loss of life, all those who have lost their lives in Borno, in Niger, everywhere else that the armed forces have been active, I do not think you can separate one from the other. So we have to have a general policy that deals with those of our countrymen and women in uniform who have paid the supreme price in the cause of defending the country. But Mr. President, I read this morning in newspapers and I've seen it even with the electronic. The governor of Oyo State calling on the United Nations to investigate the overall circumstances surrounding the kidnap and even the rescue. I thought that was the most unstatemanly. It was carrying partisan politics too far, and this Senate should condemn its unguided statement. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. When we wake up and call on foreign authorities to investigate, this is one case in which our armed forces have shown that without paying ransom, even if it meant that these children and some of the elders had to be in captivity for almost 2 months, that the armed forces were working quietly to have these rescue operations, which, as well captured in this motion, led to some loss of life. To trivialize it, to suggest, as the governor of Oyo State seems to have done, that there is something that is not open, that the UN needs to unearth the circumstances, is to question the sovereignty of our nation and to downplay the achievement of the commander-in-chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all the service chiefs and in fact all those involved in this process. I think that there is a moment in the history of a nation when across party divide we should stand in unison to commend what has happened, the way in which people were released, and to encourage the armed forces to build on it, that they should extend and get more gadgets. It's not possible for them to share with us some of the things they did. Like I heard, they were able to identify the guys, arrest some of their relatives, etc., etc. These are not details that we're interested in. Very good point. But I want us to resolve that
thank you.
The governor of Oyo State should not be seen as downplaying, undermining, and politicizing an issue in which ought to be something that the whole nation, across party divide, should start the unity to commend our armed forces for what they have accomplished on this occasion.
Thank you very much. We now yield the floor to Senator Abdulaziz Eradua, Chairman Committee on Army, to ventilate his view.
Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleague.
And I do represent Bauchi Central. I'm presently the acting minority leader as at today. Mr. President, I am really delighted with the richness of this motion. This is a motion worthy of the Senate chamber. The details, the eloquence of presentation clearly spells out what the Senate is and what the Senate should be. Mr. President, this matter is unanimous. Nigerians commend their president, commend their armed forces, commend everyone involved in securing these objectives. Mr. President, what comes to my mind, we have had stories of rescue and a lot of people had reservations. But this particular already rescue is a real rescue. And looking at the officers that lost their lives, looking at their religious background, looking at their ethnic identity, it gives you a complete impression that this is a Nigerian operation, whereby Igbos, Hausa, Yorubas, Muslims, Christians have lost their lives. What gives this impression is that we know we are Nigerians. We know the caliber of who we are. Once we put our minds to it, Nigerians can not only move mountains, we believe once Nigerians decide to do something, they can lead this world. Mr. President, having said that, what is important going forward now is to take a cue. Now we have people arrested. These people must immediately be paraded, prosecuted, and laid low, take its course. Delaying prosecution will create another impression that something is amiss. I therefore call on the prosecutorial authorities to please, as a matter of urgency, let them prosecute, let them parade, let them show an example to these people. Secondly, it is clear that this abduction has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with money, commerce. It has everything to do with business. When you see toddlers, 1.5 years, 2 years, confined to this ordeal, I begin to ask myself, how would these people view Nigeria when they grow up? You know, this is something that they will live forever. And these are 7-year-old, 1-year-old, 2 years old. Supposing they will stay for 80, 70 years, they will never forget this thing. So I employ the Oyo State government to also look for psychologists to them do what they need to do as psychologists. Secondly, the officers who lost their lives, the government and the Senate must ensure that this is done. The government must be seen to reward them openly. They cannot bring their lives back, but let the government do something tangible. It's not a matter of just give them a CON. No. Let them be provided with material things. And then secondly, the armed forces must also give them promotion posthumously, especially those who are alive. As long as you do this thing in the open, then you are encouraging security personnel. Therefore, I've been given 2 minutes. I would like to say, thank the National Security Advisor.
You have spent 4 minutes already.
To create this synergy between the security forces so that those who are in captivity in every part of this Nigeria must be seen to be rescued in a manner already abductees have been rescued. Thank you very much.
Senator,
to urge the federal government to sustain and intensify ongoing military intelligence operations against terrorists, kidnappers, bandits, and other criminal elements across the Federation through the provision of modern equipment, advanced surveillance technology, intelligent capabilities, improve logistics, and enhance welfare packages for members of armed forces and other security agencies until all Nigerians in captivity, especially the Musa children, Lassa students, Buratai travelers, and Ngoshe people, and others are rescued. And every Nigerian can live and work and pursue
Education without fear.
Education without fear.
A seconder, please.
Move.
Senator Kakashe Ulawan, SAN.
Thank you, Mr. President. Kakashe Ulawan, APC, Borno Central. I hereby second the amendment.
So, Borno South move the motion, and Borno Central second the motion.
Thank you, sir.
Right? Those in favor of the prayer, moved by Senator Ali Ndeme, Borno South, and seconded by Senator Kakashe Ulawan, Borno Central, as read by Senator Ali Ndeme, the amendment as read by Senator Ali, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to not only support this motion because I'm a co-sponsor of the motion. My name is listed there. But I want to say that this is the type of thing this country needs to be fed with. Successes and breakthroughs in challenges facing us in insecurity in this country. There is no doubt that when the news of the rescue of these children and their teachers hit the new waves, Nigerians rejoiced. Every person was happy about this because what appeared to be insurmountable was surmounted in this operation in Oyo State. So we are all happy about it. And by the spirit of this motion, commending the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is in order. This is the type of thing we need to be hearing, that our President is directing actions that are yielding results in protecting citizens of this country. It is normal to commend the service chiefs, Chief of Defense Staff, all other service chiefs, and others. But let me say that I am very proud of this very operation that produced this stunning result. The GOC 2nd Mechanized Division in Ibadan is my constituent. He's from Anambra State. He is from Oka, Major General Chinedu Raf Nebife. It is recorded everywhere, and he has been commended for his gallantry in similar operations. He was the one that coordinated the rescue of victims in Kwara State under similar circumstances. He was an officer, or he's an officer that leads from the front line. As a Major General, he leads his troop on rescue operations. So I want to identify with him as my constituent and say that he should keep it up and may God continue to protect him. For those who were rescued, we are happy for them. Then those who lost their lives, we mourn them because this is a tragedy of a very high proportion. Yes, we mourn them, and those who lost their lives in the operation, including the teacher that was killed during captivity, these are huge losses to the nation. So while we mourn them, I want to say that we are happy and will commend all of us to the care of God Almighty.
Thank you very much.
Let such operations take place.
Thank you.
Let those who are unresolved be rescued with similar operations.
Thank you.
I so submit my
We'll now
president.
call on the Chief Whip, then the minority leader, represented by Senator Abdul Nigi.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Senator Nekan Bassi, representing Akwa Ibom Northeast. I come under Order 4151 of the Senate Standing Order 2026 as amended. Do I have your leave, sir? Mr. President, the catastrophic flooding in Oyo metropolis. Order 4151.
Okay. Leader, please approach the chair. Continue.
The catastrophic flooding in Oyo metropolis and other communities in Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District. Urgent need for federal government intervention. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise pursuant to Order 41 and 51 of the Senate Standing Orders
2026 as amended. In furtherance of the constitutional obligation of government under Section 14, Mr. President, do I have your leave to continue? Section 14, sub 4B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to promote the security and welfare of the people. To present this matter of urgent public importance on the devastating flood that has ravaged your metropolis and adjoining communities within Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District. Following days of relentless rainfall culminating in the disaster of Thursday, 9th July 2026.
Point of order. Point of order.
The Senate knows that.
Point of order.
He has not been.
Okay, the microphone is back. Yes, point of order, leader. What was that? You said point of order.
I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, the primacy of governance is for the government to guarantee the lives and properties of the people as enjoined by Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the grand norm of the land. Against this backdrop, I commend Mr. President for the leadership shown, as well as the armed forces and other security agencies that participated in these rescue operations. They have shown commendable bravery, patriotism, zeal, and enthusiasm in the discharge of their constitutional mandate, because the security of lives and property of the people is the primacy of governance. Mr. President, we have similar abductions across the nooks and crannies of the country. One example I will give is in my state right now, in Askira Oba local government, particularly Lassa, in Senator Ndume's senatorial district, some school children are still in captivity. Therefore, I urge the military to show the same bravery in the rescue of these children in Askira Oba local government that are still in the captivity of the terrorists, so that they can also enjoy freedom. Against this backdrop, I support this motion wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Former Deputy Leader of the Senate and former Majority Leader of the Senate and the acting leader for this moment, acting Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Abdul Nigi, you have the floor.
Thank you.
Or this bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah, Oyo North. Mr. President, yes. Mr. President, Dark and Black Friday on the 15th of May, 2026, the bandits struck in my area and carried toddlers away with their teacher. Early hour of the day, around 8:30, some of them were just at the parade. It has been a very agony 57 days until the Good Friday came again to us on the 10th of July. Mr. President, the incident that happened, though There have been series of kidnapping reports in the country. But the reason why this one was a bit unique is that 1 year, 3 months old child was among the people that was kidnapped. Mr. President, the day they were released, coincidentally, I happened to be at the hospital when they brought these children. It was one of the very, very sad moments. Because it is my senatorial district, it's my hometown, it's my senatorial district, it's my constituency. So while I was there, one of them was at the death row. He was on oxygen, and all of them were being given drips. We give glory to God, and the human job, the military men that rescued them, and then the military hospital doctors, they did very well. We were there from 7 in the evening up to 2 midnight. They were just trying and struggling to save their life. Fortunately, the following day, by 11 o'clock, the guy that was on oxygen, they removed the oxygen, and 70% of them have been able to come back, in fact, and they were given food to eat. And this is the opportunity to thank the federal government, because it wasn't an easy place. The forest is about 2,000 kilometers. The advantage this one has about with other area is that there is a road from Igbope to Igbeti, and from Igbeti to Igbowo. The federal government blocked that road. Had it been there's no that federal government road, they would have crossed to Niger, crossed to Kebbi, crossed to Sokoto, probably to Niger. But the moment they blocked that road to the north, another road was blocked to the east. It's called Secretary, and the other road was blocked to the west, Igbeti. And they now attacked them frontally from where they came from, Yauta, which is a Siele. That alone gave the people one of the biggest shock, and they were able to cut them off in communicating. It helps. We are saying all this in the sense that probably that experience will be used in other areas, in as much that we won't disclose some of the things that are privileged information, because it's a security measure in the country. But we are thanking the government, because the truth of the matter is the only thing that is remaining, how the government, maybe when we come under prayer, how the government will be able to help us to rebuild schools around that area and put probably a police post, because it's a very, very, very remote area, Mr. President. And pending that time, we want them to help us redistribute those keys to schools in the town. Mr. President, we appreciate, on behalf of my people and my constituents, we appreciate the federal government, and we thank them for bringing our children back alive. Thank you very much.
Senator Mohammed Adamu Aliro.